Welcome to this episode of the story. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 3, The Awakening of Zhenxu, The Secret Under the Cabinet. The golden light of the candle flame and the spiritual light of the ink stick still intertwined and flowed. Just as Shen Yan's fingertips touched the cool body of the ink spirit, the blue stone slab under his feet suddenly trembled violently. This tremor was no longer the slight shaking when Zhao Yan visited earlier, but like a giant beast awakening from the depths of the earth. A dull roar came from the depths of the archive room, spreading along the stone slab patterns to the entire room. The candlestick on the desk shook violently, and the flame was swept up half a foot high by an invisible air current, then suddenly contracted, drawing a strange arc in the darkness. Boom! The creaking wooden floor above let out a groan as if it were breaking, and dust fell in clusters, mixed with debris from the spider webs in the corners, hitting Shen Yan's face. The old scrolls scattered on the ground were lifted by the air current stirred up by the tremor and flew all over the sky. The dim code provisions on the paper pages twisted frantically in the light and shadow, like a group of vengeful spirits trapped on the paper, letting out silent roars. The musty smell and ink fragrance in the air suddenly became thick, like solidified mud, making it feel stuffy in the chest, even to take a breath. Shen Yan instinctively bent down to hold the corner of the desk, his eyes fixed on the paperweight beast at his feet. This little creature resembling a stone tortoise suddenly stopped rubbing his trousers and raised its head sharply. Its originally closed eyes slowly opened. They were not the dullness of ordinary stone, but a pair of deep pupils like cold pools, in which cyan light homologous to the characters Zhenxu on its carapace flowed, exuding a vicissitudes and dignity that spanned 300 years. This is Shen Yan's heart raced. He could clearly feel that the spiritual energy on the paperweight beast was rapidly surging. The aura that was previously so weak, it was almost undetectable, was now like an awakened ancient beast, calm and majestic, forming a sharp contrast with the chaotic law fluctuations in the archive room. The carapace of the paperweight beast suddenly erupted with dazzling cyan light. The characters Zhenxu seemed to come alive, protruding from the carapace and floating in the air, emitting an aura that suppressed all emptiness and falsehood. Under the cover of the cyan light, the flying paper pages instantly lost their momentum and fell back to the ground, one after another. The twisted, dark provisions on the paper pages also calmed down a lot, no longer so ferocious. The paperweight beast has really awakened. Shen Yan remembered the records of town artifact spirits in the compilation Bureau's miscellany. Spirit creatures that guarded the code in ancient times, taking stone as their form and carved with runes on their backs, could perceive law fluctuations and suppress false laws. It turned out that this paperweight he had picked up as an ordinary stone was actually the legendary town artifact spirit. Just as Shen Yan was shocked, the paperweight beast suddenly moved. It exerted its forelimbs and climbed up from the ground. Although its speed was not fast, it carried an unquestionable determination. It did not go towards the ink stick on the desk, nor did it look at Shen Yan, but crawled straight towards the rusty iron cabinet in the corner that Shen Yan had just pried open. Where is it going? The ink spirit's voice was tinged with caution. Its figure curled up slightly, and its pitch-black eyes stared closely at the paperweight beast's movements. Shen Yan followed closely behind, full of doubts. He had already taken out a broken bone brush from this iron cabinet. Could there be other secrets? He followed the paperweight beast to the iron cabinet and saw it stop, turn around, and arch its head toward the bottom of the iron cabinet, while letting out a low growl, as if reminding Shen Yan of something. The door of the iron cabinet was still open a crack. Earlier, Shen Yan had only been concerned with hiding the bone brush and dealing with Zhao Yan, and had not carefully checked the bottom of the cabinet. At this moment, Under the illumination of the paperweight beast's cyan light, he discovered that the bottom of the iron cabinet was not a flat iron plate, but covered with a thick layer of decayed wood chips. Under the wood chips, something seemed to be emitting a faint light under the cyan light. Is there something else here? Xianxia squatted down and carefully brushed away the decayed wood chips. The wood chips had long been eroded by time, crumbling at the touch and raising clouds of dust. As the wood chips were brushed away, a stone slab the size of a palm was revealed. Carved on the stone slab were runes similar to those on the paperweight beast's carapace, but more complex and incomprehensible. In the center of the stone slab, a dark red spar was inlaid, which was now echoing with the paperweight beast's cyan light, emitting a faint red glow. This is a domain-suppressing rune stone. The ink spirit leaned forward, its voice filled with surprise. A legendary spirit stone used to suppress domain law loopholes. When the prison administration suppressed the ink disaster 300 years ago, they used it on a large scale. I never thought there would be one hidden here. Xianxia stretched out his hand, wanting to touch the stone slab, but was suddenly bitten on the trouser leg by the paperweight beast. He looked down and saw that the paperweight beast's eyes had become extremely serious. It pulled him tightly and arched its head toward the bottom of the stone slab again. Is there something else underneath? A thought flashed through Xianxia's mind. No longer hesitating, he grabbed the edge of the stone slab with both hands and lifted it upward with all his strength. The stone slab was unexpectedly heavy. It took Xianxia a great deal of effort to lift it open a crack. A stronger, musty smell and smell of blood gushed out, mixed with a faint sandalwood-like scent, which was completely different from the dirty smell of the archive room. He looked into the crack by the light of the paperweight beast's cyan glow and saw that under the stone slab was a narrow secret compartment. The secret compartment was lined with a dark red brocade, and on the brocade were two things: a yellowed silk cloth and an ancient book with a decayed cover. The silk cloth seemed to be painted with a complex pattern, which was faintly visible under the cyan light. On the cover of the ancient book, faded ink characters read, "Record of Error Correction." The handwriting was vigorous and powerful, exuding a sense of integrity and righteousness. Record of Error Correction? Xianxia's heart shook. He remembered the error correction monks mentioned by the ink spirit, who had resisted the prison administration 300 years ago. Could this be a relic left by them? Just as he was about to reach out and take out the things in the secret compartment, the tremor of the archive room suddenly intensified, more violently than before. The ink stick on the desk let out a crisp click, the crack expanded again, and golden spiritual light gushed out. Under the nourishment of the spiritual light, the ink spirit's figure grew a little taller. The old file bags on the wall fell off one after another, and the paper pages inside scattered all over the floor. The characters on the paper pages began to turn dark and twisted at a visible speed, and some characters even fell off the paper pages directly, turning into black light spots and dissipating in the air. No, the law chaos is worsening. The ink spirit's voice was filled with panic. The seal of this domain-suppressing rune stone is loose. Earlier, when you modified the rule of ink sticks awakening to spirit, you already touched the law balance here. Now, the rune stone can barely suppress it. Xianxia instinctively looked at the dark red spar and saw that its light was getting dimmer and dimmer. The red light that had previously echoed with the paperweight beast's cyan light was now extremely weak, and fine cracks had even appeared on the surface of the spar. The light of the characters Zhenxu on the paperweight beast's back also began to flicker, obviously suppressing the chaotic law fluctuations beyond its capacity. What should we do? Xianxia said anxiously. He could feel that the law fluctuations around him were becoming more and more violent, as if an invisible hand was tearing the space of the archive room. If he was not careful, the entire archive room might be swallowed by the law storm. The paperweight beast suddenly let go of Shen Yan's trouser leg, turned around, and lowered its head toward the secret compartment. The light of the character's Zhenxu on its back surged, forming a cyan light curtain that covered the entire iron cabinet. Wherever the light curtain passed, the chaotic law fluctuations were instantly suppressed. The falling character light spots also stopped dissipating, recondensing into vague characters floating in the air. It's using its spiritual power to strengthen the seal, the ink spirit explained. But its spiritual energy consumption is too great. 300 years of deep sleep have left it with only a tenth of its strength. At this rate, it won't hold on for long. Looking at the paperweight beast's slightly trembling body, Shen Yan felt a surge of warmth in his heart. This little creature that had accompanied him for 3 years, despite its weakened strength, stepped forward at a critical moment to protect him and the secrets here. He touched the broken bone brush in his arms. The two characters' revise on the brush shaft still glowed with a faint cyan light, as if responding to the paperweight beast's efforts. Maybe I can help it, a thought flashed through Shen Yan's mind. He remembered the scene when he used the bone brush to modify the rules earlier. The bone brush could channel the power of the laws, so perhaps it could also repair the seal of this domain-suppressing runestone. He carefully took out the bone brush from his arms and pointed the tip at the domain-suppressing runestone in the secret compartment. Just as the tip of the brush was about to touch the runestone, the bone brush suddenly erupted with dazzling cyan light, merging with the light curtain on the paperweight beast's back. A warm force came from the bone brush, flowing into Shen Yan's body along his arm, and then transmitted to the runestone through the tip of the brush. The cracks on the runestone suddenly stopped spreading, and the dim red light began to recover slowly, intertwining with the cyan light of the bone brush and the paperweight beast to form a 3-colored light curtain covering the entire iron cabinet. The tremor of the archive room gradually subsided. The flying paper pages stopped fluttering, and the falling character light spots reattached to the paper pages. Although they were still somewhat dark, they were no longer so twisted. It works. Shen Yan was overjoyed and was about to continue injecting power when he suddenly felt a sharp stabbing pain in his fingertips. The bone brush seemed to be absorbing his essence and blood. A strong sense of weakness surged into his heart, and his eyes darkened. He remembered that modifying the rules and channeling the power of the laws both required consuming his own essence and blood. Earlier, modifying the rule of ink sticks awakening to spirit had already consumed a lot of his essence and blood, and now using the bone brush again, his body could barely stand it. "Sir, stop quickly," the ink spirit said anxiously. "You have no spiritual roots and cannot refine spiritual energy to replenish your essence and blood. If you continue like this, you will die of exhaustion." Shen Yan gritted his teeth and tried to persist, but found that his body no longer obeyed his commands. His arm trembled slightly, and the bone brush almost fell from his hand. The paperweight beast seemed to sense his situation. The light curtain on its back suddenly contracted, no longer absorbing the power of the bone brush, but instead injecting a part of the cyan light into Shen Yan's body. A cool force flowed into Shen Yan's body along his arm, relieving his weakness and refreshing his spirit. "It's transmitting spiritual energy to you," the ink spirit said in surprise. The spiritual energy of the paperweight beast contains the power of the law's origin. Although it can't help you cultivate, it can temporarily supplement your essence and blood consumption and stabilize your life force. Shen Yan looked at the paperweight beast gratefully. He saw a hint of warmth flash in its pupils, which then returned to their previous seriousness. It turned around and arched toward the secret compartment again, as if urging Shen Yan to take out the things inside as soon as possible. Shen Yan no longer hesitated. Taking advantage of the temporary stability of the laws, he reached out and took out the silk cloth and the ancient book from the secret compartment. The story continues, and the subsequent episodes will be even more exciting. Subscribe as soon as possible. All novel videos posted on this site are from the website Discover Stories, XYZ. This website will be updated continuously.